Good day, wonderful patrons. I trust you're doing great, whichever country you're coming from. Today, we're going to talk about one of the powerful indicators, and we call it an Ichimoku cloud. So, many people, when they come to the global financial market, they don't know what instruments they can use as they try to find the ways to navigate the global financial market. And here is the deal. Today, I want you guys to learn about one simple indicator. So, once you get to understand how to use it, then you may be able to stay afloat. The key thing is let it give you the signal. Don't try to force the signal to come. And this indicator, as I've just mentioned, is called Ichimoku Kinko Hayo. What is Ichimoku cloud? Ichimoku is a technical indicator used to identify trends, momentum, and support and the resistance. So we've said is a technical indicator used to identify trends, momentum, and support and resistance. So this Ichimoku cloud usually has certain components. So I want us to talk about them. So number one component on Ichimoku cloud, I hope you can see, we have Tekensen, Te Tekensen or Tekensen. We have Kijun-sen, Kijun-sen. We have leading span A, leading span A, and we have leading span B. And we also have Chico span, Chico span. So Tekensen is also known as conversion line. Tekensen is known as conversion line. Conversion line. And Kijun-sen is known as baseline. Baseline. And this conversion line is 9-period EMA. Conversion line is usually 9-period EMA. And Kijun-sen, which is a baseline, is usually 26-period EMA. 26-period EMA. And the average between Tekensen and Kijun-sen is what makes the leading span A, which is usually 26 periods ahead. So this is 26 periods ahead. I hope you're all together till there. So what are these things and how do I get to use them? Remember, as I've said, these are so-called components that we have on our Ichimoku cloud. One of it is Tekensen, which is also known as conversion line, which is 9-period EMA. And then we have a Kijun-sen, which is a baseline, and it's a 26-period EMA. And then we have a leading span A, which is also a 26 period, which is plotted 26 period ahead. It is the average between the Kijun-sen, between the Tekensen and the Kijun-sen. And also we have leading span B and Chico span. I hope you're all okay there. So how do I get to trade using these components, the Ichimoku? You see, there is something usually we call it a crossover. When we have a crossover, it's basically a zone to which it is giving you a signal to either buy or sell. Remember, as I had said earlier on, Ichimoku cloud is a technical indicator used to identify a trend, a momentum, and also support and the resistance. So let's say, for instance, I want to now take a trade and maybe I want to see a buy signal. How will that help me out? Then we have what you call a crossover. Like, how will I subject my crossover? You see, when the Tekensen, which is a low period EMA, crosses above the high period EMA, then that suggests the market is going to buy. So this is what I mean. So let's say for instance we have this line. Let's say that line signifies 26 period EMA, 26 period EMA, which is our Kijun-sen. And then Tekensen comes and crosses above it. And Tekensen is 9-period EMA. This crossover, because it has crossed above it, it's subjecting you for a buy movement. So whenever you see a crossover happening where a 9-period EMA is about to cross a 26-period EMA, you should be preparing yourself to buy that market. That by itself is signifying that the market is definitely going to buy up. That is how simple it is. And so is the vice versa. For a sell potential, for a sell, I expect the same 9-period EMA to cross below our 26 period EMA, then this tells us that this market is going to do what? It is going to sell. Are we clear till there? That is basically one way of trading using Ichimoku. And remember, we've also mentioned a leading span A and a leading span B. The leading span A and the leading span B is what forms the cloud. Leading span A and leading span B is what forms the cloud. Remember, I had said Ichimoku is an Ichimoku cloud. So how do I use this Ichimoku cloud? Now here is a beautiful deal. See, first of all, you've already known how to find a signal using just the crossover. And now how can I also use a cloud? When the market closes above the Ichimoku cloud, it may have broken a certain support in the resistance. And at the same time, it is telling you this market is on a buy momentum. So this is an uptrend. It's an uptrend. So the moment you notice that the market has gone above or has closed above the Ichimoku cloud, that by itself is telling you this market is on an uptrend. The same applies to when you see that same market on when it goes below the Ichimoku cloud. So let's say this cloud over here again, and then this market comes and closes below the cloud. This is subjecting you for a trend change. The momentum now is the market to go on a downtrend. That is how simple you navigate as far as using the Ichimoku cloud is concerned. And something else that I want you to understand is that this technical indicator is very, very powerful only when used well. Do not try to force a trade. Just be able to only wait for that to happen. So I also want us to check that on our MT4. I want to open our, how do you call it, the trading view. So this is how it looks like. I'll definitely share also that. This is how it looks like. So when you come to the market, and then now you want to, you know, trade a particular market. You see the way those things are, as you can see from what I'm sharing right now, this is how they look like. This is how the Ichimoku cloud looks like. So you see it has got different so-called colors. If you look at this green one over here, this is what we call the Seiko span. And if you look at this, there's this blue line over here. This blue line is a Teken Sen. The red line is the Kijun Sen. And you see now here we have something that looks like a cloud. There is an upper cloud and the lower cloud. These are the things that the upper one is called the leading span A, and the downer one is what is called the leading span B. Okay, and you can also see what happened here. We can see definitely we had a crossover over here. Oh, sorry, the crossover happened. Once we saw the crossover over here, which is the Teken Sen crossed above the Kijun Sen, we can see it gave us a buy signal. At the same time, if you look at our Ichimoku cloud, the market was above the Ichimoku. What did the market do? It bought up very, very well. You see? So traders, that is how simple it is to be able to, trade the global financial market using the Ichimoku cloud. I hope you've learned something for this small session that we've just had. If you have any question, please drop it on the comment section, and be ready to embrace for more knowledge. Thank you very much. Until next time. Bye bye.